Today I've decided I want to make an experimental jewelry box out of some sort of rough wood and hollow it out and turn it into a nice piece of work. The people at the chicken place said I could come back here and choose one. I offered to buy it from them and they wouldn't take any money. Really nice people. So I found my piece of wood, and it certainly is of an irregular shape. The first thing to do is to cut the lid from the base, and I secured it onto a square platform that I can push against the fence and slide along the table and cut it open on the bandsaw. Well, the bandsaw cut really nicely, but it didn't cut it perfectly. Basically, this surface here of a plywood jig that I've made is parallel to this surface over here, and what's between it is either even with it or protrudes upwards a little bit. So let's see if we can get this baby milled flat. The router bit is set to the depth that I need from this surface to the top of the plywood there. Perfect to the plywood level, and that surface over there I have yet to get to, so we'll do that now. So now that we've got a flat surface, I drew a line where I'm going to start relieving with the router, and it looks awful small compared to the size of this thing, but this is going to have to get chiseled down by hand at an angle, because the deeper you go, the closer you're going to get to breaking through the outside of the wood. We've relieved a level down, and then the perimeter another level down. The bit has a bearing at the top of it which will travel along this outer edge here, and that'll allow us to go down incrementally. But because we don't have anything to rest the router on now, it's harder to remove whatever's in the middle accurately, so I screwed the base to a bigger base, and that's it. So no matter where I go, I'll have support across the surface along the two edges of the plywood. Well, I need to be about 4 centimeters deep in order to be able to switch over to the big router, and I'm 4 centimeters deep. That means I can set that big router up so that just half of the bearing protrudes, and that'll be enough for us to really start making progress. This wood here is Longyan wood or Dragoneye wood, and they use it to smoke chickens and other things. And a butcher friend of mine asked me to save any sawdust I happen to have that's, you know, a hard, non-treated wood. So I think he's going to be pleasantly surprised. Okay, after about 6 hours of this, we're approximately 7 centimeters deep. Look, that's like 7 centimeters deep by maybe a circumference of max 20 centimeters. Look how much sawdust that produced. It's like a pretty full bag. It's interesting how much sawdust you can get out of a small piece of wood. Now it's time to sand. Well, I'm going to carve a heart into the top of this box, and when I sanded down the grain I saw that the dead center ring is right there. There's a better word for that, but I forget what it's called. So I want to try and have that in the center of the heart. Well, the base of this thing's not flat. You can see it's like maybe 15 mil lower in the back and in the front, and I don't want that. I want it to be sitting flat and pretty on a table. So I'm going to figure out the lowest point, cut my plywood to that dimension, and recreate my runners that I had before. I've got screws on either, all surrounding it so that it can't, oh, it just moved.